Batman! Just kidding. I'm talking about Superman. More importantly, Superman's double life. We all know that iconic S, but what we don't know, or rather don't think about, is Clark Kent, the regular guy who works at the newspaper. Maybe the reason we don't think about Clark Kent as much is how little we see of him. Being Superman takes up so much of his life, he sometimes forgets to be that regular guy next door. He doesn't have balance. Now, that's Superman. Superman's got this. He can bounce back. He can fly around the world. What we, the regular, mere mortals, don't understand is that we're not him. We're not a superhero. We need time to unwind, to relax, and then get back to working as hard as we can. First, I'll fly into the issue of adults without work-life balance. Then, we'll rescue overworking kids, something that's often overlooked. And finally, even though I may not be a beacon of hope, I want to convince you that with a few changes to your daily life, the benefits will last a lifetime. Did you know that stress from work is as bad as, or sometimes even worse than secondhand smoke? No, don't start smoking instead. Rather, take a look at your schedule. Go ahead, I don't mind. Check your phone, check your calendar. You may have a few major events on there, some errands to run. What we aren't putting on there, however, is how long we spend at work, our everyday chores, and how many times movie night got canceled because you or someone in your family brought work home. According to a study by U.S. News, the United States work more than other countries, nearly twice as much in some cases, and people aren't paying attention to the glaring health signs of it, such as anxiety, depression, high blood pressure, and the list goes on. Well, I'm scaring you, aren't I? But really, it's the truth. Come on, you've seen it. If you notice yourself ignoring others around you for the sake of pleasing your boss or teacher, I think you've got How to Be an American down pretty well. After all, even an American icon like Superman can't separate his work life and his home life, sometimes even getting his loved ones tangled up in the mess. After all, not all of us is as lucky as to get abducted by aliens. I wish, but no, that's never happened. I hope. Everyone he knows gets caught up in a secret life as a superhero. When you keep your job as your first priority, the only person that gets any good out of it is your employer. You become disconnected from your friends, from your family, and from yourself, from what matters most. Now, let's talk about my problems for a change. As a millennial, I'm supposed to focus on myself. Allow me to elaborate. You know me, I'm a student. When I go home tonight, I'll eat dinner, then I'll go straight to bed. The next morning, I'll remember that I forgot to do my math homework. Yeah, forgot. This is the struggle, and the next morning, in between eating breakfast, packing lunches, and everything else that goes on in the morning, I have to find time to do my homework. This is the struggle for many school kids around the country, proving that it's not just adults who need a line to separate their work and home, it's everyone. According to a recent study by Stanford in 2013, they proved that there was no relation between homework and good grades. Sure, practice is important, but practice doesn't mean spending up to 3 hours on problems that do nothing but consume time that could be well spent on getting outside, playing, or getting some much-needed sleep. I don't know about you, but I've never had any homework until the 4th grade. And a while ago, I was visiting my cousin. He's 6. At 9:30 at night, I'm getting ready to go to sleep. And at 9:30 at night, I see him sitting at his desk. I ask him, "Well, what are you doing?" He tells me, "Well, I'm studying." The little kid voice was necessary, of course. Let me repeat that. He's 6. He says, "I'm studying." Now, if this story had taken place 50 years ago, it wouldn't be a story at all. It would never have happened in the first place. My cousin would be sleeping that night, not studying. not even worrying about any homework. But it's not just him. Many kindergartners around the country are getting up to 2 hours of homework each night on their ABCs and 1, 2, 3s. However, nowadays this story might seem pretty normal of a boy trying to become Superman before he's Superboy. Recent studies show that up to 56% of the stress in kids' lives is caused by homework and schoolwork. When will we learn to draw the line? When parents don't see kids over winter break because the kids are too busy finishing assignments and the parents are too busy making ends meet? Don't confuse making a living with making a life. Balancing your home and work has always been a problem. But is it really? We all have multiple personalities. We act different around our friends, our family, by ourselves, and around our crushes. Yeah, flipping my hair every 5 seconds is normal. And there's only one answer to this modern dilemma, says renowned sociologist Phyllis Moen, and that's learning to say no. Saying no, meaning trying to make more time for your social life, like friends and family, and knowing that your boss or teacher doesn't own you. Now you're thinking, why should I care? Because even if you don't work or are handling your school or work just fine, there's somebody in your life that's burdened with this. Maybe it's a parent, a sibling, or a close friend. According to recent studies, about 60% of Americans say that they've put their work before their friends and family. And that's not just adults. And in conclusion, what we, the regular boring mortals, don't understand is that we're not a superhero, and we can't, and no matter how hard we try, we just can't save the world every time.
Good job.